Hello, hello. Hey, Anthea, how are you? Shay, what's going on? You back again. Thank you. All right. As always, I'm going to give it a few minutes before we start. Tawakoni, how's it going? Come on, Texarkana. Miss Learman, what's up? Hopefully I'll get home soon, Anthea, so I can see you. Hug your neck. It's good to see everybody from Texarkana joining in first thing today. As always, I'm going to give it a few minutes, like I said, for people to join. So before we get started, so that way I'm not repeating myself. Because, you know, all my teachers out there, I know we hate repeating ourselves. And basically, I'm a teacher. What kind of tips you want? Shoot me a DM. If you got questions about anything, feel free. I'm always here to answer questions. Food is what I love. So I would love to hear from you. If you got something you want to know how to cook too, let me know. All right. Let's see here. It looks like Facebook brought back the sharing apparatus too. I can bring someone else online. Michael, what's up? Yes, sir, neighbor. Glad to have you in the complex. So it looks like we got a few people on already. We got about 14, 15 people. I'm going to give it another few minutes before we get started. Just a little bit about this week's live and what we're going to be making. We are doing a red coconut curry with chicken. Obviously, you know, there are just one or two ingredients that you can leave out. Teach gumbo. All right, I will. Gumbo's a little more in depth, but I can definitely make gumbo happen. I have a really good gumbo recipe. Andre, what up? So this week, like I said, we're doing a red coconut chicken curry. It's definitely going to have a good amount of spice, a good amount of heat to it. Typically, red curries are known for being a little bit more spicy. Other than that, each and every week, as you guys saw down in the caption below, we are sponsored by Brian over at Level Up Home Inspections. So go over to his page, give him a like, make sure you thank him for making this all possible. Other than that, you guys, we for this week's giveaway, obviously we're going to do the same thing I've been doing every week. We're going to be giving away the cost of the meal. This week is going to be $30. On top of that, I'm going to do the same thing I did last week. I'm going to be giving away a free 1 hour cooking session with me. So, you know, you can pick a dish. If you got a date night coming up, something like that, feel free to let me know when you want to redeem it. It doesn't expire. It ain't like one of them old shady gift cards you get from places that expires. Yeah. So other than that, Sarah Powers, what up? Every week she's here. What's up, cousin Reggie? All right, you guys. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of like the ingredients and what we got going on. Keisha Gamich, how's it going? I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the ingredients we got. So first off, we have for our side dish for this, we're going to do a basmati rice. Basmati rice is a rice that's grown in the Himalayas. It's a long grain rice. It typically is going to be a little bit less starchy than a lot of your other rices, which is good for this side dish. You really don't want it to be a super sticky, starchy rice. So we got a cup and a half of the basmati rice. Other than that, we got our chopped shallots. This is going to be 2 shallots chopped. The basil and the cilantro that I have here are essentially going to be for garnish, as well as the green onion. I went ahead and mixed them all up. We're just going to kind of sprinkle them on top to add a fresh element once we get finished with the dish. We have our ginger root here. This is going to be chopped ginger root. There's no like right or wrong way to chop it. A couple tablespoons of that. We got 2 jalapenos. This is something else that's going to add another level of spice to this. Cousin Chauncey, the realtor extraordinaire. Kimberly King Webb, hello. We have our 3 carrots peeled and chopped. We have our red curry paste. Curry paste is something that you can make at home if you would like, but for me, for the ease of this whole thing, I just went ahead and bought some store-bought curry paste. And I'll get into like what is actually in curry paste here in a minute. We got our chopped garlic, some broccolini. I don't know if you guys have worked with broccolini before, but it is of the broccoli family, obviously. We have our cut and chopped green beans, as well as some yellow squash. Lots of times when you have curry, some people enjoy putting potatoes or starch in it. Because I am serving this with a side of rice, I didn't want to make it too heavy, too starchy. So we're just going to alleviate the potatoes today. So let's get started. Back here in this back pot, I went ahead and got my liquid started for the basmati rice. I did have some chicken stock left over from the carton that I bought for the actual dish. So I'm going to use chicken stock. Obviously you can use water if you would like to, if you want to make this vegan or vegetarian, water or veggie stock, but we're going to add a little chicken stock. Honestly, when you're making rice or, you know, risotto like I did last week, or quinoa, anything of like the grain kind of thing that needs some liquid to boil to cook, I particularly like to use chicken stock just because, you know, it just adds more flavor to the dish at the end of the day. Let's see here. So we got that on boil. We got that going. We're going to go ahead and get our water started for the green beans and for the broccolini. I've used this technical term a couple times in the weeks past. What we're going to do with the green beans as well as the broccolini, we're going to blanch them. And essentially you just take them, dump them in some boiling hot water for a few minutes. It is going to give them the al dente-esque texture that you're looking for. And then you're going to shock it in some ice water. So I got the water. The burner's on, but it ain't really boiling. So we'll give it a few more minutes. Let's go ahead over here to the fridge and we'll grab our chicken. So this is our chicken. This is a pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast. I talked to quite a few people after a couple of my last lives. And they were just like, you know, I prefer chicken thighs or, you know, just dark meat chicken in general. Honestly, you can use whatever you want as far as the cut of chicken. I just prefer chicken breast. That's just my jam. All right, so with the chicken breast, I'm going to season it just a little bit with some salt and a little bit of pepper. Again, from week to week, I've talked about like seasoning your dish just a little bit every step of the way. So that way at the end of it, everything kind of comes together. So we got some fresh cracked pepper, a little bit of salt here on the chicken breast. We've already went and cubed that up into 1-inch pieces. So that way when we get to sear it off, it'll be like the right size, you know, to stir and kind of mix in really, really well with the curry. In this here, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. In the recipe, it calls for canola oil. You can use canola if you like. I just changed my mind and I want to use olive oil. It's a little bit healthier for you, and it also gives it a great flavor as well. And thank you guys again for tuning in. For the ones, I see we got quite a few more joiners. For the ones, what's up, Mr. Brian Fox? I was just about to mention you. Perfect timing. So for the ones that just joined in, we are doing a red coconut chicken curry. This typically with the red curry is going to have a little bit more spice. As far as the side dish, we're serving it with basmati rice today. That's going to be a long grain rice that is grown in the Himalayas, less starch in it. Perfect for this dish because I'm not adding in potatoes, which you typically see in curry. Other than that, every week we're sponsored by Brian Fox, the one that just joined the live over at Level Up Home Inspection. So like I said in the caption below, make sure y'all go to his page and give him a like, put him in that algorithm. Everybody needs the business right now. So I did season my chicken with a little bit of salt and pepper. What I'm going to do is just kind of toss it around. That way we kind of evenly distribute the seasoning before I add it to the pan over here. Again, beforehand, before we add like our broccolini and our green beans to the dish, we are going to blanch them. We have used this term from week to week. I hope you guys are picking up on some of this thing. You're taking notes and really enjoying what I'm doing and the knowledge that I'm giving, because I'm not just in here talking to be talking. Okay? I can't find my... We'll just use one of these when the time comes. Don Stahl, hello. Victor, what's up with you? Again, thank you guys so much for the support from week to week. I really appreciate it, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And I'm really, honestly enjoying this. Thursdays have slowly become my favorite day of the week. With the basmati rice, you don't want to stir it too much because it will like kind of break up that whole starchiness to it and it start to clump together. So we're going to alleviate or stop trying to stir it as much. Let's go ahead and we're going to throw our green beans in first. They don't take as long as the broccolini. The broccolini is a little bit more dense of a veggie. So we're going to throw our green beans in even though it's not really boiling all that well. And then because, you know, little TV magic, I went ahead and put some ice in a bowl prior, because what we're going to be doing, we're going to be shocking the green beans. You guys, I've gotten some really good questions too and some really good pictures after these shows. So make sure if you all are joining. Who is this putting a gift? Brian Fox, is that right? Yes, that's right. Make sure you guys, if y'all are cooking these dishes in real time and or afterwards, go back to my page, or when you post or when you cook these dishes, make sure you post these pictures and tag me in it, so that way I can post them to my other social media, that kind of stuff, and it just keeps the engagement going. All right. It seems like everybody's taking their time heating up today. AKA this pot here in the front. I guess I did put the biggest pot on the smallest burner, so rookie mistake. I went ahead and seasoned the chicken. We're just waiting for this olive oil to heat up, and then we're going to start the process of making our curry. Curry is a really great dish, honestly, from start to finish. It shouldn't be more than about 20-25 minutes, especially once you have the mise en place and everything taken care of. I don't know if you guys out there are familiar with mise en place or what that means, but it pretty much is a French term, just means place in order. And making sure you have all your ingredients ready to go. It's going to be less chaotic in the kitchen if you got everything in order and ready to go. All right. Honestly, I don't know about y'all, but I'm a rice fanatic. I can eat just like gobs and gobs of rice by itself. Obviously, sugar is not the way to go. I do salt and butter. I know some of my family members back home will have a fit because they like sugar, but that is not my jam. All right, let's do one little piece. All right, we're good. The reason why we're wanting to get the oil good and hot before we added the chicken to it, we want to sear it off and give it a good color. When you sear your proteins, when you're doing something stewed like this, it's just going to lock in the flavor initially. It's going to give your protein a good color, so that way it's recognizable, you know, in the dish. Sometimes you'll get something and the chicken or the beef or whatever has like a weird gray color to it. This is because they didn't sear it off beforehand. I'll tell you what, this rice is really cooking back here, and this green beans is being annoying. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna switch these pots right here. And a little tip for all you at-home cooks out there, you guys, make sure when you're cooking, you always have your handles facing in, so that way if anybody's walking by the stage, if anybody's walking by the stove, y'all got kids, okay, they're not running through, you know, the kitchen and potentially going to burn themselves because they knocked something off the stove. And no shade to people that's got kids. I love kids. Trick love the kids, okay? All right, so the green beans have been in here just a few minutes. Like I said, the water wasn't even really boiling. It was at a good simmer, but it's still hot enough to blanch the veggies like we want. So we're gonna go ahead and pull those out because we want them to have a bite. I like for my green beans to have a good crunch to them when I bite into them. All right. And as far as the basmati rice, y'all saw me probably add just a little bit more water because it has already kind of cooked out all the water. Sorry if we had a delay right there. Somebody was trying to call me and I used my technology here to cut them off, the Apple Watch. But yeah, most of the water has already cooked out of the basmati rice already. So I just added a little bit more because I know it wasn't quite ready yet just by the visual appearance of it. So we want to make sure that we got some cooked rice. Nobody likes old crunchy rice. But yeah, like I was saying with the green beans, I do like an al dente kind of texture to them whenever I'm eating them. Whether I'm doing, you know, a sauteed green bean or adding them to something like this, a curry dish. All right. It's like bobbing for apples right now at the fairgrounds right now, trying to get these green beans out of here. I don't have the right utensil. See? Mise en place. If I was ready, I would have had it. So we're going to set those to the side, and we're going to concentrate on making sure we don't burn our chicken or the rice. The chicken has a really good color to it already. What we're going to do too, once we get finished shearing the chicken off, we're just going to set it to the side, and then we're going to kind of build the flavors of our curry. I don't know if you guys are familiar with curry, what it is. Again, we're using a red curry paste. You can get curry powder in like the dry form, but essentially red curry is going to have some red chilies in it. It's going to have a little bit of ginger. It's going to have a little bit of cumin, turmeric, onion powder, garlic powder. There's so many. Molly, how have you never had curry? Let me tell you, if you don't like spice, I will say start with a yellow curry. It tends to be a little bit sweeter, or even maybe a Penang curry. It tends to be a little bit sweeter as opposed to like the red curry, because red curry is going to be made with like the dried chilies and stuff, so that's what's going to give it a heat. But to answer your question, Derek, curry is going to be essentially just a bunch of like different flavors and different aromatics that you add together to give it the flavor. And coconut milk is what's going to give it that like creamy, like taste and flavor. But this curry is going to have a little bit of lemongrass and garlic. It has some red chilies in it. It's going to have some cumin and some turmeric as well to give it some flavor. All right. You guys, I say this, always test your food, try it before you serve it to anybody. Perfect. So the water's almost cooked out of the basmati rice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a lid. I'm just going to put this on the back burner back here. Grab a lid in a couple minutes before we serve this up. I'm going to just fluff it with a fork so that way it doesn't stick together. Claudia, how's it going? All right. Other than that, you guys, I have a running list of things that you want to see me make. So don't think that your suggestions have gone unnoticed. I definitely know from week to week what I'm going to be doing. I may be a little late getting the flyer out, but you know, it is what it is. Also, it was really fun last week to go back through my comments and to see like people commenting where they're watching from, that kind of stuff. So make sure you drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching from. If I don't necessarily know you directly, how you heard about the show. It's always fun for me to go back afterwards and really see what's going on. All right. So chicken's looking about finished. And the chicken doesn't have to be all the way done. The chicken can be about 80% there because what we are going to do, we're going to stew it in the sauce afterwards for a little while. Let's go ahead and we're going to turn our heat down to about medium high. We never want to cook on high. I was almost on high heat there with the chicken, but with the curry, because we're going to be adding things like garlic and ginger, we don't want to burn that. It's going to give it a bitter flavor. So we're going to turn the temperature down on that just for the next couple minutes. All right. Again, you guys, please make sure and do me a favor while you're watching. Hey Tiff, how you doing? Please make sure you guys, while you're watching, to like and share and comment. One of my videos like 2 weeks ago got about 900 views, so I'm trying to break that 1,000 view mark, and it's really important for me to get there with the likes and the shares and the comments. It just keeps it going. Other than that, this week, like I said, we will, for the giveaway, be doing the cost of the meal as well as a free 1 hour personal chef lesson by yours truly. Right. I kind of wanted to focus on building the curry without having to worry about, you know, blanching the broccoli, even though I'm really great at multitasking and I am confident in my skill set. We're gonna hold off on that. Just give it a few minutes. All right. With this blanching of the broccolini, I'm not going to get a separate vessel for it. We can throw it right in here with the green beans because at the end of it, we're going to throw it all in the same. Do you get to pick my outfit as a chef? Honestly, Jumper, you know my closet are good enough. You probably can if you want to. You know, today was just like a subtle print. Nothing crazy, just really subtle. Nothing exciting. It's been real hot here in Austin, so the velvet was not an option. We're going to retire that till nighttime. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and pull the broccolini out. If you want to, for aesthetics and everything, you can cut the broccolini down in half. I personally like it in big long stalks like this, just so I can, you know, visually be able to see it in my dish. All right. Right, guys. Okay, so again, make sure you like and share my videos so that way you can get entered into the drawing. Other than that, thank Mr. Brian Fox over at Level Up Home Inspection. Okay. All right, so we got most of the stuff done. We're gonna go ahead and turn this heat off. We got our rice back here. It is finished cooking. We just threw a lid on it so it can steam a little bit and steam out the rest of the water, and also we'll fluff it before we get ready to serve it. So the pan's cooled down a little bit. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start building the curry. All right. So just a little bit of olive oil. If I had to say, I just added about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. First in, we're going to throw our shallots. And we're going to cook these just for a minute or two till they're translucent. This is another term that I've used with you guys before. Translucent is essentially just cooking it to allow it to almost be see-through, honestly. It just breaks down the shallots and gives it, releases the aromatics and what it's supposed to do for the dish. If you guys aren't familiar with shallots and like what they are, shallots are of the onion family. So still super pungent. They still will make you cry when you cut them if you don't have a sharp knife. And I don't know if you guys knew that either. Having a dull knife is what's going to have you crying in the kitchen when you're cutting onions. Okay, Anthea, I know you be in that kitchen. You've always cooked it up. So, but yeah, you can do curries with different things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a paste. I just wanted to utilize the paste this time. This is something that a lot of people see and, kind of steer clear from it when they are in the grocery store. But yeah, this is a paste. But yeah, you can definitely use the powder form. I typically use yellow curries when I do the powder form, just because I think it has a more of intense flavor when it's in that powder form of the yellow curry. All right, you guys, I may have turned my fire down just a little bit too much, but we're gonna turn it back up. With this, like I said, we're serving it with rice, and I'm not adding potatoes. A couple people have asked me, what's a kitchen, Neil Anthony? Come on now. A lot of people have asked me, why didn't I add potatoes to this curry? It's because I'm serving it with the starch. But if I wasn't serving it with rice, you can definitely add sweet potatoes. I'm obsessed with them. I put them in everything. Or you can do your plain old russets like you see back here in my display of veggies. All right, so we got our shallots. They're cooking. They look translucent. We're going to go ahead and throw in our garlic as well as our ground ginger. Again, with the garlic and the ginger, you don't want them to scorch and burn or turn brown when you're cooking them, because it's going to add a bitter flavor to your dish. So you just want to essentially, once you smell the flavors of like the ginger and the garlic and everything coming through, you want to go ahead and add your liquids or whatever else, so that way we don't burn. Give it a unappealing flavor. All right, you guys, today's been a great day. I don't know about you all. I'm feeling a little bit more normal with the whole quarantine situation and what's going on in the world. But I hope y'all are staying safe out there, still practicing social distancing, wearing your masks, and all that good stuff. So for here, I have my coconut milk, and then I have my chicken broth, and that's what's essentially going to build the curry-like sauce base to this dish. All right, now that we got the onion, we got the shallots, we got the garlic, and we got the ginger in the pan, I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken back to it with the juice. And the reason why I add the juice back to the pan, because it's just going to deglaze it and then just bring back all the flavors to the dish. With this curry, right after I get done, obviously I'm going to taste it and let you guys know, how it's going or whatever. But I would typically probably let it simmer about 15 to 20 minutes beforehand. I mean, after, all the ingredients are added. Where's my mask? I'm in the safety of my own kitchen, but I got plenty of them, please believe. All right. So we got that in there. Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and throw in our carrots. You can use rainbow carrots if you like to. Rainbow carrots are always fun. Hey, Auntie Gwen, how's it going? Rainbow carrots are always fun to add to dishes just because they give such vibrant colors. I just went with your regular orange carrots because I had them in the cupboard. Next week, I'm going to try to do more of like a pantry pull, things that people have around their house, because I know that's a little bit easier in times like this, but I was just really in the mood for a curry today. So we got most of our ingredients in. We got our chicken, our carrots, our celery, our ginger, our garlic, and now we're going to add in our curry paste. This is 3 heaping tablespoons of red curry paste. And again, red curry tends to be a little spicy. So if you guys are not in the mood for something spicy, a little bit of heat, I would maybe go with like a yellow curry. Right. Each and every week, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm up in this kitchen, cooking stuff, doing things. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the shares and the comments and the likes. So let's see if we can give it a good look. So that's essentially what your dish is going to look like with the curry stirred into it. And now I'm going to go ahead and actually turn up the heat, because I'm going to hit it with a little bit of the chicken broth, and then that 1 can of the coconut milk as well. Say for instance, you got some people coming over, you really didn't have this stewing long enough, and you really wanted the dish to thicken up really quick. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the old term of doing a slurry. Essentially, a slurry is equal parts of cornstarch and water. You can do that and add it to the pot, and it'll thicken up your dish immediately. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to add our coconut milk to this. And surprisingly, I'm not a huge fan of coconut, but I love a good curry. I think it's just the texture of the actual coconut meat. It's like chewing on sand that I cannot get down with. Taylor, I mean, I guess I'm doing my job if you just finished eating dinner and you're already hungry and want to eat again. You guys, be careful with this stuff, though. I don't know why I wore a white shirt, but if I were to, Miss Marty Mae Watson, how you doing? If I were to splash some of this up on this shirt, it'd be ruined. But whatever, it came from Old Navy. I'm not mad about it. Okay. So I, in the recipe, said I think it was 2.5 cups of chicken broth. I'm not going to add all 2.5 cups. I just said 2.5 cups because I wasn't sure what it was going to look like afterwards. So we're probably going to add about 2 cups of it, and then we'll reserve like the other half cup over here on the side. Again, this is something that you want to let stew and let simmer. The longer you let it simmer, the better it's going to taste. Like I said, if you wanted to do a quick thickening agent with this, you can add a slurry, which is just equal parts of cornstarch and water. You guys got to forgive me. I hate cooking in a mess. So when I'm in the kitchen, I'm constantly like wiping down and cleaning. So I don't want y'all judging me saying his kitchen would be real nasty. And nobody got time for that. Okay, so we're doing good over here. Everything's looking great. Let's take a look back at the rice. Again, we boil the rice ahead of time. I did use chicken stock to boil my rice in. You can use water if you would like to, but I did use chicken stock. And this is basmati rice. This is going to be a long grain rice that is grown in the Himalayas, lighter in starch. And see what happens with that once you let it sit after you cook it. Let's see. There's the camera. Boom. After you cook it and you let it sit and cover it, it essentially just steams out the rest of the water, that was residual water that was in the bottom of the pan, and then you can fluff it with a fork and break up the grains of rice so that way they don't clump together. The other thing that I'm going to add to the pot right now while this is coming back up to a simmer is my yellow squash. All right, 41 people in the room. The yellow squash. You don't want to add it too early because you don't want it to break down and be completely mush. You still want it to have some texture to it, but I'm going to go ahead and add it to the pan because by the time I get ready to try it here in a few minutes, I want it to have cooked just a little bit. Now, before we add any more squash, I'm going to give this a taste test. You guys, taste your food every step of the way. Please make sure you're tasting it. Okay, curry. I can get with that. All right, we're just going to add a little bit of black pepper, crushed black pepper to this. It doesn't need any salt at all, and all the other flavors taste good. Once I add the jalapenos to it, that's going to add, just another little bit of heat to the dish, but I did feel like it needed a little bit of black pepper. Next week, I'm going to invest in some white pepper because on dishes like this, it's just more appealing to have the pepper flavor and not necessarily see the pepper flakes floating around in the pan. All right, so there we go. We added our yellow squash to the pan. And if you want to, for service, like with me, because it's just going to be me and the roommate enjoying this, I'm going to add the broccolini and the green beans and everything to this. But if you wanted to, like you're serving it with some friends, you can take your broccolini and heat it up in the oven beforehand and just throw it on top. It's kind of like, an element of garnish at the same time, another veggie to the dish. I wish you guys could smell this though. This smells so good right now. I haven't had curry in a minute, so this is perfect. And I don't know where my obsession with spicy food came from over this quarantine, but yeah, I'm in love with spicy food these days. Yeah, of course you gotta taste it. A lot of people don't taste their food. You'd be surprised. It's like, what are you doing? Clearly you have no clue. All right. let's go ahead. We're going to add our broccolini to the pot. And this is one of the reasons why we blanched it ahead of time. Just to make sure it's al dente and it's not cooked all the way through. You know what? Before we do this, I'm going to drain this off real quick. Again, you guys, each and every Thursday, thank y'all for tuning in. After I get off this live, I would love to exit out of this room and see like 30-40 shares from this video. That would be ideal. I'm definitely trying to break the record of how many shares I've had and how many viewers I've had on my previous videos. The most I've gotten is a little over 900, so we're trying to hit that 1,000 mark. Once I do hit that 1,000 view mark that following week, I want to do something special for like the giveaway and for everybody that's been tuning in every week, because I really appreciate it. Come on, pot. We looking real full over here. Let's see. I was going to tilt it and come show y'all what it's looking like. I don't want to spill my juice everywhere. Look at that. It's looking really, really good. So we're going to let it simmer for a few more minutes. I've added all of my veggies back to this. Everybody's in the pot. We got squash in the pot. We got chicken. We got carrots. We got all of our aromatics, our ginger, our garlic. Again, with the chili paste, the curry paste that I use, you don't have to add a bunch of like other things like salt and pepper, because in that curry paste it's already going to be included in it. You know, things like turmeric, as well as cumin. So a lot of good stuff in curry paste. And that's one of the reasons why I like to do the curry paste as well, because it already has like all the yummy, like good flavors that you're looking for added to it. Especially when, you know, you don't have an extensive spice cabinet. That means you don't have to go out and buy all those things. Alex Mayfield, you made it. You made it. Okay, you guys. So we're looking good. I'm also going to go ahead and add these jalapeno peppers in here. Add a little bit more heat to the dish. I'm going to save a few on the side just because when I take my pictures, I like to have fresh, you know, garnishes and good looking green stuff on top. Again, with this dish, I'm going to go ahead and plate it up and try it now. But if I were making this for a dinner party or I had some friends or something coming over, I would definitely want to let it simmer, you know, about 15 minutes, just to kind of thicken up and let everything come together. Okay. Also, too, don't be nasty when you're cooking. If you're tasting your food as you go, make sure you get a clean spoon every single time. I know it's annoying to have 9 million little spoons or silverware or whatever to wash afterwards, but it's also real, real gross to know that you done dip that same spoon up in there 10 times. Oh my God. That's so good, you guys. And honestly, with like the red curry and all the green veggies and the yellow from the squash and the orange from the yeah, that's a little hot, and the orange from the carrots, this dish looks really, really aesthetically, it looks really, really tasty. So let's see here. All right, we're gonna grab a little bit of our rice. Again, we got long grain basmati rice. If you don't want to serve this dish with rice and you prefer to do it with something else, feel free. I just wanted rice today, but you can always add, you know, your potatoes or whatever to it to give you that little bit more heavier, starchy like flavor. Again, you guys, keep sending me those ideas. Keep sending me those pictures of you creating these dishes and making them at home. I really appreciate the engagement. It's really fun for me to be able to look back and share all the stuff on my timeline with other people. Just like a couple days ago, I don't know if she's in the room, one of my coworkers, Lisa, she ended up making the risotto dish, her and her husband, and she shared it or whatever, and it looked fantastic, and she seemed to really enjoy it. She said it turned out good, so I guess I am a decent cook. All right, again, we have our mix of our cilantro and basil and green onions over here. This is just to add a fresh element to the top of it. You make curries, and I add these herbs to the top. I actually like to tear them so that way it releases the oils, but it doesn't like turn it brown or what else. I'm gonna let that simmer, turn it down, let it simmer for just a little bit longer, and then let's go ahead and give this a taste, you guys. All right, actually, let's give it a look. Come on, curry. Again, I'm gonna do a beauty shot, and I'll post it in the comments afterwards, but let's give her a taste and see what she's tasting like over here. Oh yeah. So we're real good. I'm gonna go back for a second bite. Sorry. I'm not sorry. Oh yeah. I'm gonna demolish that as soon as we get off camera. So each and every week, thank you guys for joining. 7 p.m. in the comments, in my DMs, hit me up. Let me know if there's something in particular that you would like to see, or if you have any culinary inspired questions. Yes, 30-minute meals. It's always 30 minutes. I want to keep you engaged, keep you focused. People lose interest after about 30, 40 minutes. Yeah, and I cut my finger at work, not here. But no, every week, 7 p.m., sponsored by Brian Fox over at Level Up Home Inspections. Please make sure you share this video after we log off, because 24 hours afterwards, I'm going to enter you into a drawing for the cost of the meal, which this week is going to be $30, as well as you're going to get a free 1-hour personal chef experience with myself. So thank you for tuning in to Taste of a Texan, you guys. Y'all have a great rest of your night.